it kind of feels like Prince George is in a little bit of a transformational moment right now. What's your 10,000 foot level view for the next 5 years in Prince George, 3 to 5 years? What should be the focus and the next step to kind of get us out of this? We're adding taxes on a year over year basis. How do we get ourselves back in a positive area where we're not doing that?
Yeah, I think I kind of, when you were talking, I think I've always kind of thought that there's really, three approaches that I would take, and have been trying to move as one of 9 voices around the table. One is, you're absolutely right in terms of, I think I was probably one of 50,000 homeowners who were, swearing at myself when I opened my tax bill and, saw, what I owed for taxes this year. The reality is we are operating the city is expensive, and it's not getting any cheaper. I think COVID has caused, in particular in like the areas of, I'll use asphalt for example, and concrete. Those costs are going up right now, upwards of 30%. When we did the math, I did the math at Finance and Audit when the budget came through. At our current spending on sidewalks, it would take us 60 years to replace all of our current sidewalks in Prince George.
Yep.
That doesn't include repairing what may be faulty. I think, I got an email from a citizen recently about the sidewalk condition on Winnipeg, and I went out and looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, like this is not an appropriate level of service that we like to provide. On the flip side, we don't want to raise taxes. Like, I don't think any politician gets into office. If you went back to look at my when I ran, I have not been able to achieve the target that I set in my campaign of trying to get taxes to between 3 and 5%. This last year, I had either proposed or supported cuts that would bring our taxes down to 4.2. I did then support some of the enhancements that came forward, not all, but then we ended up, as everything adds up, we get to this year it was 6.79, I believe. That number, I'm probably wrong on that, but it was over 6.5. Yep. And the goal is to ultimately keep taxes as affordable as possible.
I think
challenge with
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the challenge with that is to make sure that we either have to agree as a community that we are okay with reduced service. So we're okay. I brought to the table, let's look at our service level of snow removal. Very unpopular conversation, and heard loud and clear that there was not really interest in things such as not opening driveways, such as not plowing 24 hours on stat holidays if there's a snow event. Heard loud and clear from residents that there wasn't an interest in reducing the service level of snow.
Yeah.
Or,
I think a lot of people question the efficiencies of that program, through and through. I mean, one thing I know is I got to wonder how viable this contracting out those services is at the level that we do. I know it saves us in equipment maintenance and things like that at the end of the day, and it's going to save us in some staffing costs. But, You know, when it comes to everything that we seem to bill out to other corporations in this town, it seems like they love to pad their billing. Everything from those bathrooms all the way across to everything else. I mean, $750,000 for a tiny bathroom over at the ball stadium there is absolutely insane when we all know you can build an entire house for that much. That was obviously padded by the contractors. So I think at the end of the day, people don't want services cut because I think a lot of people question the efficiency of the program itself. And I wonder
No,
if we're not getting the full amount of data we need from admin to properly go from top to bottom on that thing and really understand if our money's being spent properly.
no, and I think that's a really fair. I think that's a really fair comment in terms of understanding the balance between what is done by city staff, what is done by contractors. I know there was a conversation at Finance and Audit as well around, the retainers that we paid to contractors so that they are available on quick response. We've talked about, how do we make sure that we are keeping our snow budget as as affordable as as affordable as we can without decreasing service. I also know, my phone lights up on, days that it is relatively nice out, and you have a plow going down your street, and you're questioning why.
Yeah.
And some of that is around making sure that the drain or the
Drainage and stuff. Yeah.
drains are open, and that we're not overburdening the drain, the wastewater drain water system. Um, but there's definitely an optics issue, and I think this is also where I think transparency is key,
I agree.
because people have the right to know, right? Ultimately, it's your tax dollars paying for that plow going down the street, and most people are reasonable when you say the plow's coming by to make sure everything's open. Um, they get that, but it's where we need to make sure that we are communicating, and that we're communicating with the information that people need to help understand.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I can help out with that with platforms like this a little bit too. I think we need the data though, some line by lines on how we spent $10 million on snow clearing in a year when we had way less snow than I've seen in my lifetime here in the Prince George area. It would just be nice to see how that's spent. I mean, we totally understand inflation. We understand what the pandemic did. We understand that everything costs more these days. But it's like show me, show me the
No, and
numbers. Show me how you spent it, and then let's see if it's fair. Let's see if this is something we can fix. And I think when we get to that service level thing, I think that's where people are like, I don't want to cut service levels until you prove that the dollars I'm giving you are being spent properly. Like, let's doge this thing. I think is at least what I'm getting from the reasonable people that I'm chatting with out there. Anyway, there's a lot of unreasonable people too, and when you land in the middle
and
of it, that's what I feel like.
yeah, and I can't fault them for that, right? I think